All right, now we're live. Everybody, welcome to Sweetcast. It's been a long time since I've streamed. It's been probably a couple weeks since I've streamed last, but I'm eager to be here today. I've got Aldous. I always want to say on the farm on Orwell Lane, or so you have the Aldous.
Yeah, just
Aldous,
all this
stop you there.
works. It's all this
Aldous.
off the farm, just off Orwell Lane. Yes.
There you go. Yeah,
Just kidding.
and Steve Dye here
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, I don't have a pseudonym that is quite so flamboyant. Doesn't include my address, just here.
Well, I'm always like, is it a reference to like Animal Farm or something? And then
Oh, it totally is. I call him Hugs. I mean, I guess occasionally even goes by Aldous Huxley, but yeah, it's a Huxley thing.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's an allusion to Orwell. It's an allusion to Huxley. It's an allusion to Animal Farm. And recently, I got a small access road on my property relabeled officially as Orwell Lane, so I can actually say I'm off Orwell Lane now. So
oh, perfect. Yeah, I love it. Those are total side note just to start off with. But I when I started writing novels a few years ago, I went through and read all of those classic dystopian books like Animal Farm and just a whole bunch of those. It was just interesting to me because they're almost always an allegory. It's like
Yeah.
you can understand what's happening today because you've changed everything completely, and did a story about it. So I love those books. They have a special place in my heart, and I always end up doing something that's kind of tied to dystopias because of them. So
I think that's true. I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit different in that I actually, yeah, I still remember a lot of them well, but I'm rereading my way through kind of the greatest hits as we speak from teenage pseudo college years, whatever. But yeah, I like reading a lot of Vonnegut right now. It's
oh yeah.
very snarky, dystopian, dark toned, and yeah, and of course, yeah, obviously the classics already named.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I think when I think of Vonnegut in the terms of like Huxley and Orwell, the short story Harrison Bergeron from Welcome to the Monkey House, his short story collection, that is always the first one that comes to mind. And I don't think with today's cancel culture and the wokeism that there is a more apt short story that Vonnegut ever penned. When you talk about limiting people of intelligence with a cacophony of noise so they can't focus, or putting someone that's beautiful with a mask on. There's something to be said there, and that parlays excellently right on over into where and why we are here with regards to indie comics and
I'm
why.
not done yet. I wanted to talk
Okay,
about
sorry.
slapstick.
Well,
Let's
go
let's
ahead.
not go right to the shill.
I wasn't
you
going
know.
to the shill. I was doing the transition.
Well,
Better-
there's a few lines. I know, but I wasn't done yet. That was a good transition, though.
It's better than 99% of my transitions, but I want to hear what you have to say too.
Well,
Good.
Aldous has got it down pat. Meanwhile, I'm on camera with a face for radio and a voice for print media. But what are you going to do? I was reading Slapstick by Vonnegut, and it's this middle-aged couple kind of disappointed with life in general, particularly the our narrator, because it's in first person, like most of Vonnegut stuff is, and they're living. I believe it's it's essentially set in Chicago, or maybe it's an analog. But they're on the 18th floor of some skyscraper, and society is crumbling all around them. And, it costs too much. My two favorite prescient lines. One is from the man who shot Liberty Valance. I just want to get this Western trope in here real quick, where they say when the legend becomes bigger than the truth, print the legend. That seems pretty prescient in terms of screenwriting or writing in general. And then in Vonnegut's book, they're living in the skyscraper and it's all gone to shit. And our guy, our view on this world says, yep, me and the wife, been here about 30 years. She's always talking about love. And I'm always thinking, how about a little less love? How about a little more common decency?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Anyway,
great. Great. It makes me want to read a little bit. Fahrenheit 451 was one too that came to mind, and
Yeah.
it's so short, but it's like the more now, I think it's even more relevant. It's
Well,
just
yeah.
yeah,
Animal Farm and
censorship
all.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
Animal Farm and all that are really short and they seem really prescient, but I haven't read them for a while, and yet somehow it seems daunting to go back and read them because in my mind they are these vast 800-page tomes.
Yeah. They have
Right.
no pictures either.
Yeah,
Read so many comics. Yeah.
yeah, they're really an afternoon read, but yeah, in
Yeah.
my mind they're that big. So
We'll say
anyway,
hello to.
I will digress no farther. Not hijack the show.
You're
Talking about
good. You're good.
yeah.
Let's we'll say hi to the chat here. Paul Riley's here. He says, "Hey Clint, great to see you, Paul Riley." I think he's like the first one in the chat always. So appreciate you, Paul. Granda Comics, hello. Great to see you. Roland's here. Yo, this is really deep for just starting this show. Yeah, usually we're fumbling around here, but we're getting right into it.
Yeah, we'll work our way into it.
Aldous is here, of course. Chimera, I have a wrench here. I mean, hi. I don't know when you got it, but congratulations. I never know all the wrench. I gave out so many wrenches, but Chimera, you're a good one to have a wrench. So glad that you are here. All right, let's share the screen so we know what we're talking about here. I don't know. If
Chimera,
need
quit calling me.
Is he calling you? Oh, Camel Moon's here too. Camel Orders
This is
program.
Camel.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Camel
yeah,
Moon's
yeah,
a good
yeah.
dude.
A little bit of an echo there.
So we have rocket mission number 2. This is the campaign that you're both out here promoting. We'll look at this throughout the stream, but I figure we'll just bust it out now so you guys can see it. This is what we're talking about, and I'm going to also share the link right now. So if maybe you're just popping in for a few minutes to see what's good, this is what's good. So rocket mission number 2. Give me a little pitch. This is a little different. Magazine for independent comics.
Yeah. Got an echo.
Oh, I don't know. Is it still echoing? Is it me or you?
Testing. Yeah, I think it's your page open. Did you share with audio?
Let's change that. Yeah, let me change that. See, I think I've done this before, but no.
No worries, man. It happens.
Any
Testing.
echoes now? Sound okay?
I think that's much better.
All right.
All right. No, Steve, you want to take the pitch or you want me to handle it here?
No, take the lead, Aldous. You're in charge.
All right. So yeah, this is it's Rocket Magazine is a 120 plus vehicle that we're looking to assemble and put enough content in that it drives indie comic creators to the next level, and that can be writers, that can be artists, that can be just anybody that is in indie comics. Each individual issue kind of has a general theme to it, and so that theme starts off with 5 primary greats, legends, however you want to describe them, that are there, that forms the backbone. And those are long form interviews like you would find in an old school Wizard magazine, where you're sitting down with that person and we're delving into things that you might have heard the little bit of the top of the story, but we're getting down into the details. So you may know a little bit about Camel Moon, but you don't know everything about Camel Moon, and we're trying to bring that out. When you talk about Andy Smith or Dan Fraga or Billy Tucci, everybody's listened to their stories and everybody knows kind of why they're in indie comics. But when you're getting down into the questions, it's what were their motivations and what were their inspirations for coming over here instead of working in the mainstream, because those 3 in particular all have huge mainstream bona fides that they could have easily jumped over at any time. And then we've got Mark Polton and Peter Samedi himself framing out the end of that 5. And those 2 guys kind of are bookends to a degree of a similar tale of how they got to indie, but in both different ways. But the thread between all of them is the same. And so then where that plays into is some of the quote unquote smaller creators that we're trying to give a leg up. And you might buy it to read about Billy Tucci, but then when you turn the page, you get to see 4 pages about Camel Moon and what he's doing, or How to Die by J.P. Black, or we've got a great spread from Keir Covington about King Cryptid and Peter Samedi and what Alternative's doing. And when you do that, the goal is to okay, this is the backbone, but man, check out all this other stuff out there. And it highlights these guys, and it's to bring it forward so you can check it out and get an idea of what it is they're doing and what's going on in indie comics. So as a vehicle, that's its intent. As a product, it's extraordinary. The goal here is to make it as high quality as possible. Steve has over 25 years in publishing, so the graphic design is top notch. In fact, 3D Robin, who's an old school Comicsgate guy, not around too much anymore. He's more in the back rooms and stuff, doing work for everybody because he got one of those real good jobs that keeps him away from all this.
Yeah.
But he's doing a lot of the logo work. He did the rocket logo. He does a lot of the page background stuff. So we've got just an amazing group of people behind us and supporting us. Dean James provided a fantastic multiple page tutorial for artists, or for anybody for that matter, on the dynamics of a panel. And we show a little bit of the preview on that further down the page.
Okay, right here.
Yep. And that's just, he breaks down how he starts a panel, how does he construct it, how does he do his layouts, when he starts with his rough pencils to when he progresses to his actual pencil, and then how he inks it, how he plans out the page, how he plans out the panels within the page. And that kind of stuff, and I've talked about this ad nauseum on both the Saturday show with Lord Crackhead on CG Talk and on multiple other shows as we've been talking about this. But when you talk about Comicsgate and you talk about indie comics, there's a lot of people here that aren't actual diehard old school comic fans, and they've come into it for one reason or another. So when you show something like this from such an accomplished artist that just continues to level up like Dean, what you're getting is not just, how he approaches it, but it gives you a little bit of understanding of how that panel is constructed, why that panel is constructed, and the general rules for like how a page should be read, what the cues are within that panel. And Dean goes through all that in a way that even a layman who's looking to understand a book a little bit better or understand how to interpret a page, it's right there for you in a format that's very easily digestible.
Very cool. Yeah, I love it. I mean, everybody talks about I'm sure the initial thought is, oh, Wizard magazine, but I never was really into Wizard. But what this feels is kind of, it reminds me of, I don't remember what those magazines were called, but I used to get, back when PlayStation 1 was the thing, they had magazines and cheats and stuff like that you could look at and get some behind the scenes. And now, yes, there's YouTube, but I actually like having something that's well thought out, well put together here and edited that you can go through and read. Like it's a curated, piece. And this can be something that you keep for a long time. I mean, every time I'm reading any book, and in fact, older comic books, and you have a little interview from somebody, anybody that you like, here's something about Frank Miller, or something like that in a random issue. It's just fun to be able to read some of that stuff. So I love what you're doing here with these artifacts.
Yeah, and Roland brings it up in the chat. He's talking like Comics Journal or Nintendo Power. And there's a little bit of Comics Journal in here. Steve was a bigger fan of Wizard than I ever was. I was more of a fan of early heavy metal and Epic Illustrated. And that's something we haven't mentioned yet is, in addition to these long form interviews and those tutorials, there's also you've got short samples from some graphic novels, multiple pages, as well as individual short stories that might not fit in a normal book. They're just standalones. And that's a chance for an independent creator to put something together that maybe doesn't fit within their entire volumes of other works, but they can throw some creativity out there. A guy like Camel Moon, he's got Boots and Heels that's only one backer away from 22K. He's got Hail Salad. He might suddenly want to do some kind of, weird sci-fi tale that's only 5 pages, but he's got this great idea, but it only fits. This is the place that could go in. This is where he could put that in, and it gives him the promotion. It gets people to see what he's capable of, and obviously everybody knows, but man, it's something different that might not relate to his brand, while at the same time giving him that little bit of promotion and name recognition that, getting it out there and getting people's eyes on it.
Yeah. Camel Moon, thanks for the super chat, $2 super chat. I'm going to pull up Boots and Hills just because you're worth it. But I appreciate I appreciate the $2 super chat as well.
Camel's great.
Sorry.
Camel's fun to have a drink with. on a beach in the middle of the night, and he also was a willing collaborator. So that's a pretty winning combo.
Yeah,
Clint was
awesome.
great.
He's a good
I
dude.
like that guy.
He helped us out with some coloring for Fatal actually, and yeah, just a pleasure to work with him. He's
Yeah.
does some really good work. So always interested to see what he's doing. Boots and Heels right here. I'll post the link. This is dangerously close to 22K. It's a good place to be. So if you want to be a hero, check out Boots and Heels. I will post the link. There we go. Maybe we'll check back in on that. Well, this is cool. I have been kind of waiting for a project like this. I've heard rumblings of them, different. I'll be honest, I haven't been really watching too closely for like what kind of magazine is going to come out, but I've heard it so often, and I don't know. I just love that here it is.
I don't know if anybody is. And first of all, a death of the hat to Huxley for doing such an able job of taking the lead and shilling. I don't know if anybody is, Clint. I mean,
Yeah.
One hopes and all that. But, while echoing everything that Aldous said, which is, it really is. I mean, it's a showcase for 20 plus creators, and maybe it gets their work out there a little bit. And if nothing ever happens for them, now, I mean, Billy Tushy doesn't need to see his name in print, but part of the intent too is to make sure some guys at least get into print, and if they're doing their own book, bring some attention to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate what you said about the design of it, because as far as the here's the quick little hijack. There was a time when I was never a huge gamer, but I certainly looked at gaming magazines, and I'm influenced by Thrasher. The
skateboard magazine.
Yeah, just a lot of magazine design ideas, and it is Comics Journal in a way, but it's trying to look cool.
Yeah.
Comics Journal never looked cool, but it is a mashup of. It's a genuine pleasure to sit down with a legend like Billy Tushy and ask him specific questions. A lot of which with me are about motorcycles, because we have that in common. But at the same time, for the general public, it's like, why didn't you publish She with Image? And he said, they didn't want to do it. And within a year and a half, he'd made $1.5 million. So that's a pretty nice success story.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. I mean,
I do digress, but it's great to be able to sit down with Billy. But ultimately, it's also a mashup of the design idea. Thanks for what you said earlier, because trying to make it look cool. But it is very much Comics Journal, where it's just like a long form interview with somebody that's really explaining their process and how they came to arrive at that process. And it's not necessarily about the artwork or the writing. Sometimes it's about life.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I think this is important on another level too, because like a big thing, especially in Comicsgate, is that if you can get on the YouTube circuit, you can, there are a few websites, handful of websites that'll post reviews, or they'll post stuff that's searchable online, that actually has written content. But we're all largely kept out of comics journalism, and it's just like a given that you're not going to see anything published. So I do think that's important here, because it's not just relegated to only YouTube content or like long live streams. It's like this is a publication that someone can pick up and read. It's searchable. I don't know what your plans are for digital or anything like that, but even down the road, it's something you can actually search through. You can get the written content. I think that's important, and that's a bit of media that's been missing.
Well, I miss it. Maybe I'm just a dinosaur shaking his fist at the cloud, but I don't just miss making it, because I've continued to make it throughout, but I miss being able to have as much of it to consume. And there's various factors there. I mean, Wizard was great when it began, and then later on, Garib Sheamus flew the plane into the ground, and in hubris, and that's a whole nother show. But just the various economic factors contributed to the fact that the magazine, the corner newsstand, doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There is still some magazines at the supermarket where you buy your food if you go to one of the big stores, but it's 1/4 the size that it used to be, and it's dominated by 3 publishing firms, and they own Hot Rod and they own Home and Garden. They own all that.
Yeah.
And you can't buy your way onto that shelf. I don't know. I miss being able to consume. I like magazines, man. I like comic books. Hell, I used to read newspapers when they printed what seemed like it might be the truth. Yeah. So,
just print is awesome. And I got to stop for a minute here because like the first thing I noticed is this cover is amazing. We kind of just scrolled past it. I mean, I've hovered on it a bit, but we got to talk about the cover a little bit here because just this in and of itself is amazing. It's so good. This is EJ Morges. Is that what I'm? Yeah.
Yeah, it's EJ Morges, who's phenomenal. And I did have a little trajectory section on him in the first one because he'd been doing a bit of Cyberfrog work for Ethan, and obviously he's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
I'm super happy with it. I almost digressed into actually telling you a story about covers, but I'll just pass on that and let Aldous talk.
No, EJ killed it, and Steve's being humble. But after issue 1 came out, EJ got his copy and said, oh man, he was really pushing Steve to do another one. And the story goes that he's like, oh well, we'll do another one as long as you do the cover. And EJ jumped at the chance, and he absolutely killed it with his cover. It's awesome. From Penumbra to She to Kreen Cryptid to USA Assassin, it's epic on every level, and we're completely honored. And honestly, to a large degree too, it was when this came in, it's a challenge to make sure the content rises up to the quality of the cover.
Yeah, I mean, that just outstanding. I love it. Can you get issue number 1 in this campaign at all?
Yes. Actually, the campaign for issue number 1 is still open. If you want to buy it right now, it'll ship within 1 to 2 days directly to you. Cool. Or you can buy it as an add-on in this campaign, or with the big tier, the full payload tier. Also comes with a copy, but we're not breaking up the shipping on that. So if you just want to buy it once, you can buy it here. But if you want it right now, you can go over to the first campaign and it's available.
There you go. Yeah. So if you're impatient, you can do that. I'm going to get it, but I think I'm going to get it in this campaign because this is what I want, is that to be up to 5,000 as quickly as possible. So
from your lips to God's ears, Clint, we all want that. So
that's what I want. Yeah.
Let's make this happen.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to back this tonight. I'm going to look at it a little bit here, but if you're thinking too, like, hey, you want to support this kind of thing, what a better place to do it. I mean, this is such a great looking magazine. I got She number 3. I have it here. I did a little box opening video. I want to read it. I just need a few minutes to sit down and read it. But now I want this too, because I want more from Billy Tucci. Obviously Peter Simeti, love the guy. I'm really excited about King Cryptid. I mean, I'm really excited about the creators behind this whole book too. So it's gonna be fun to kind of read a little bit about them, and great looking magazine. So
this is as close as I'm going to come to genuinely shilling tonight. But
here we go.
There's the first one. Let me hang on a minute.
There it is. Is it magazine size too? Dimensions?
Yes. Yeah, it is, and that's kind of what I wanted to do.
Oh, whoa. That's no joke. I was expecting like saddle stitched, like fewer pages. That is legit. Wow.
No, 120 plus pages, over high gloss, interior and exterior, heavy cardstock cover, perfect bound. We're not pulling any punches. This is a passion project. This thing is of our quality. It's what we want to see in the books we receive, and it's only fair that we present it in that format that when we put something out. So
yeah, So cool. This is professional. Like if you were going to put this up in a comic, and I've seen people out there that run their own shops, stores, and things, and they'll have their comics section. That's sort of supplementing things. This would it's again fantastic for retailers as well. Here, I love this one. Here, there you go.
Hey, 24 eyes.
24 eyes. Love it. Very cool. Sim is involved too. You also get the first 5 pages of Demona. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. By yours truly in there. Love it.
That's pretty close.
I mispronounce everything.
Here's some Chimera. Stop
Very cool.
banging up my phone. I'll get to your stuff tomorrow morning, like I told you. But yeah, there's some more. But
Brutus.
Yeah, Sims. There's a little Vault Cobalt. Vault is getting ready to launch a little short on his. He's trying out the do your own thing, which seems to be a thing. He's got cryptocomics.com, and it's a modest little nice story that he's just going to see if he can make it happen there. But yeah, it's Cigars with Cecil.
And we'll take you up on that, Camel, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say there's an offer.
Camel Moon was along on this particular ride, actually, but a lot of people were sworn to anonymity, and I had to redact certain things, and
that's the and that's
but anyway,
what this does,
Sim's
man.
in there. That's what I was getting to.
Yeah,
Sim's in there.
slowly.
Yeah, Sim's in there.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's sequential art. It's a little 6 a.m. Just trying to get everybody.
Oh yeah.
How are you going to do that? But
I've seen that float around on Twitter. But again, the presentation here with the double page spread, and then you've got the
thick,
copy on the left there. I love it.
Yeah. Costs a lot of money to make, people.
It is.
Go ahead and back it, would you?
And that's one of the things that we're doing is this is just a 30 days, and then we're going in demand because we've got to get in contact with our printers with the holidays and with everything going on. With issue 1, we ran into some issues with paper stock qualities and stuff. We want to make sure that's not the case this time. So we've got once our 30 days is up, we're going in demand, and then we're moving forward with printing. And whether we hit the goal or not, we're doing it. And, there's probably maybe one more of these maybe in us if we really don't see a great response just because of the passion behind it. We both believe in this thing firmly. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it. But, if the demand's not there, the demand's not there. And we'll take a step back and reevaluate and come back with something else. But we really believe in this. Or not. we're doing it, damn it. But no, this is something that's it's very special to my heart. I know it's special to Steve's. He just won't say it because he's a curmudgeon. But this is something. It's the best thing we can do for the scene. It's the best thing we can do for the community, for the network, however you want to talk about it. But this is something that's in our wheelhouse. So it's like, okay, we can get this done, and we can produce it, and we can put it out at a high level. And the goal is to blow people away. It's, hey, what's going on over there in indie comics? Well, we've got this. What do you have? And, Wizard is no more. Epic Illustrated is no more. Heavy Metal is a pale imitation of what it was when I fell in love with it. And the goal is to rejuvenate that. It's to bring that back. And it's not just kicking the nostalgia can over. It's launching it with a rocket and putting it into orbit at a different level than it's ever been done before.
Love it. Yeah, this is great. So I'm going to back it. So let me stop sharing because I'll dox myself or something, but I'm going to back it. If you want to see the numbers move up, I'm going to open up a separate one too. I've got to do this the right way so we can refresh it. It'll be fun. But if you want to back it with me now, and that way when we refresh it, it'll be fun. So, we'll start there. So tell me while I'm doing this, because I don't want to wreck everything. Oh, dang it, I already did. Shoot. All right, I'll get it figured out. Anyway, tell me about why you decided to do this in the first place, because there's a bit of risk involved in that it's not a comic book, and I've been really careful with even black and white comics versus color comics. It feels like there's a level of risk. But if you don't take the risk, then nothing cool happens, Yeah,
I don't know. I miss publications like this, Clint. I miss having them around. And it did seem like, as Aldous says, it's like, what can I bring to the table? Again, I got a face for radio. I don't have a voice made for broadcasting. I think you kind of do. You've done a marvelous job of building a YouTube channel.
Well,
That's
thanks. Yeah.
yeah,
If only,
but I know.
if,
Well, and I've
if only
watched
if I could pronounce words better, I'd be okay. But
I've watched it all along the gestation.
just
I don't know. This might be a little inside baseball. Maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but I've watched you since the beginning, and I still watch you. And you've struggled a bit at times with that whole, do I really want to
be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I
I
mean,
struggle with it mightily, my brother, is what I'm trying to say, and I just want to put out a really good publication.
yeah.
And as far as what you're saying about it being an alternative form of entertainment and an alternative form of entertainment inside of, I don't know, man. I mean, I would like to see a little better reception, obviously. And it may not actually be there, but I did feel like that's what I could bring to the table was this, I can do this,
Yeah.
I can make this. I know a fuckload
Yeah.
about design and pre-press. And,
Clearly. Yeah.
so
I
can bring that to the table. I can draw a half decent Snoopy, either laying or sitting on his doghouse, firing at the Red Baron. And that's about as far as my aspirations ever took me but I can make a hell of a magazine. So that's what I can bring to the scene, as Aldous says.
I love that because you need that though too. It's not all not everyone is the artist. I'm certainly not. Like not everyone whatever it is, but that rounds out the community. It rounds out the media. I like it a lot.
My feeling was that possibly there was a small niche for something that showed a little more insight into they'll talk for 6 hours on a live stream, but it's about current events and stuff. It's not about it's not about doing probably the best Sergeant Rock story ever written.
Absolutely.
I've heard Billy talk about that because I asked him about it, but nobody ever does. There's that aspect of it, but I also thought it'd be cool to just make sure some guys that maybe they're going to put a book out there, maybe they're going to put 2 books out there, and they're not really going to find the traction they hoped for. But hell, if I could put them in print and help them get a little of that traction, or in some cases maybe even get some, if the thing would do well, I'd love to have it as a platform for people that haven't published and are still waiting to publish, to do little 4 or 8 or 12-page anthologies, and then I'll put them out there and then they can collect them later. And
it's an entry point. I did just refresh it. You're at 4,367. Congrats. If you haven't backed it yet, Rocket Mission number 2, please do. Let me get this super chat by Camel Moon. Thank you so much for the super chat. Win $1,500 in the Boots and Hills cover art contest.
Camel's shilling his campaign when I'm just trying to pitch my little magazine. Come on, dude.
He's going for it. Love it. Yeah, I mean, we'll look back at his man. If you send super chats, I'll look at it.
This is like fighting over Cecil's chat more.
There you go. So I'll post this link as well into the chat. There you go. Camel Moon, Hills and Boots. Check it out. It's getting $50 away from 22,000. Rocket Mission number 2. I'm genuinely excited about this. I think it looks like a great project. I can tell you guys, I pulled out all the stops. I can't imagine how expensive it would be, but what I'm guessing is there are so many great artists, contributors that kind of pitched in to help make it happen in one form or another. And that's another thing I love to see, just so many different names, people collaborating. I think that's great. So
yeah, particularly, some of the big guys are extremely generous with their time and some of their artwork. And, there's certainly I will say that I hope that there's a demand for the magazine, because there's certainly demand to kind of get into the previews section and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
But it's 120 plus pages. It's heavy. It's thick. It's not inexpensive to produce. So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for the backing. I think that's probably your money I'm seeing there, Clint. I'm not going to check. I'm not going
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. If you haven't, if you haven't backed yet, dude, check it out.
Yeah.
But no, and one of the things again, like with issue 1, and Steve's told this story before, and I don't know why he's not telling it now, especially with Kier here in the chat. But Kier Covington was just in the fan art section, and while it is under no illusions that the magazine propelled him to the heights that he is currently at,
that's
but
all
he went from the fan art segment to now he's doing a book for Alterna with Peter Samedi and King Cryptid.
Yeah.
And that's what I would love to be able to tell stories like that more.
I love it that it happened.
The back cover on issue 1, and I've got a short in this issue with him, and I'm planning on maybe doing a book in the future, hopefully. But there's so much talent out there, and in this one we're highlighting Peter Orchard Studios, and amongst others, and it's just all these guys. It's just a flurry everywhere you look in this scene. There's an immense amount of talent. And what better application than this to disperse that and get more eyes on it, because not everybody sees it in their feed. It blows by so fast.
Absolutely. I was just going to show you. Kier did a piece just for fun, and I was like, "That's amazing!" Or he did it for. I'm trying to find it in my computer. I can't remember where I stored it at, but he did a fantastic piece, and I was like, "I want to color this." And so I colored it, and I said, "Do you mind if I use this as a T-shirt for upcoming campaign?" And
Nice.
we worked something out. He's like, "Sure." It's so cool, but yeah, Kier is one of those styles that it's very recognizable to me, which is a feat in and of itself. Like that's amazing, but it's also just great art. Like period, it's fantastic. So I'll have a T-shirt with some of his art on it, and. Yeah, I mean, Kier's great. I'd love to do some more stuff with Kier. That'd be
Are you pulling it
super
up?
fun.
I want to see it.
Yeah, now I got to figure out where did I put this thing? Because it wasn't in.
I'll sing Kier's proses for a minute if you can find it. Because
please do. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw him super early in the involvement of the scene, and can we just come to grips with? Can we just call it 2018? Maybe we should just do that. But I mean, I noticed Kier pretty early, and he was doing a lot of fan art type of stuff. And he was doing, other stuff, his own stuff, and yeah, I think that I'm so stoked for him that he's doing some King Cryptid with Peter Samedi at Alterna. I think that's a feather in his hat and leads to bigger and better things, and probably with Peter, because I don't know if there's anything bigger and better than the business model that Alterna has in the current comic selling climate. But yeah, I mean, it had nothing to do with Kier was in the magazine, to be sure. It had everything to do with Kier's so talented that it's undeniable. And I'm pretty stoked that a year or so ago I published some of his stuff, and he's going to have a lot of things published, but I'm pretty sure that I published him first, so that's
you gotta claim that credit. Here is this is the piece that Kier did for an Alterna auction, and it looks just fantastic.
That's super cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's
super
awesome.
cool. I have seen that, but I wasn't sure which piece. Yeah,
and
super
then
cool.
I was like, I'm gonna try coloring it just because it's fun. So there's the color version. And I think it'll work for a T-shirt. So it was really fun. I loved doing it. But yeah, Kier's art's just fantastic. So good opportunity to turn a little auction piece into a T-shirt as well. So
for sure. And Jeremy's saying in the chat, we highlighted one of his pieces for the Godlike competition last year on CG Talk, and everything he puts up, he's just one of those guys. It's always dynamic and it's always cool, and it draws the eye for sure. He's definitely. I can't wait for King Cryptid. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna kill. People are gonna die when they see it. It's just so.
Yeah, I love the character design on that. I think it's gonna be a really, really fun series all in, and I'm stoked that Kier's gonna be a part of it. And I like his version best.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
God,
Kier's just one of these guys, man. There's 19 other creators in this 120 plus page magazine that all are immensely talented and all like this. And a lot of the, man, they just need to once one guy sees the right piece, they're stratospheric. They're going into orbit.
Clint, you remember when we could just feel like we knew everything that was going on? Remember that?
I
When we
don't.
were nascent pups, and and the wind was just whistling by, and we thought we could smell everything. Remember that?
Yeah. Now I can't even. I like have no idea. Some days I'll get onto Twitter and I'm like, I don't even. I'm lost.
There's a lot
So,
of stuff out there, and Aldous spends a lot of time. I spend a bit of time. We have various autistic scouts that are telling us, that you should take a look at this. But there's just so much out there. I wish there were enough
Yeah.
pages. I'd like to do enough of these to feature each and everybody eventually, much like that 6 a.m.
Yeah.
collage. But there's only so much room. But
Yeah.
there's so much talent out there, and but
Yeah.
I mean,
Now it's
I know
curious.
you were
Yeah.
there, brother. I remember, 4 years ago and change. You
Yeah.
were just like, oh yeah. So this Richard Meyer fellow's coming out with a book, is he?
Yeah.
That's interesting. But yeah,
Yeah,
So-
it was just, I mean, I don't know. It was, to me, such a turning point, like the epitome of, well, we'll do it ourselves then, and
Yeah.
again, this continues that. And I did refresh this. You're now at 4,402. Thank
Oh,
you.
fantastic.
New backer
Fantastic.
coming
So
in.
much, everybody.
Thank you to Clint and Clint's audience. We do appreciate that.
Yeah, that we've been hovering maybe around 15 to I don't know if we got to 20. We were close to 20. I was telling Aldous before we got on, I am recommitting to making some YouTube content. And this is kind of a nice kickoff for me because I want to get on it. But part of the reason has been I've legitimately just been extremely busy, and I got to show you guys one more thing.
Yeah, show us some stuff.
This is as close as I'm going to show you. This is Fatal
Yeah, just zoom in a bit.
complete. Yeah,
Whoa, it's complete. Finally done.
complete.
Awesome.
This is every page. We have 53 pages of Fatal here. So
Congratulations, man.
I
Yeah,
don't.
man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's still a ton of work to do right now, but it's like this is really go time for me. So
Now
this-
you've got the stuff you need to do the rest.
yes, yeah. The script's finished. Eric's lettering it right now, and so obviously we'll kind of going through the editing process and pre-press and all that jazz. But this is as massive a milestone as you get. But yeah, there you go. Completely finished all the line art here, and we'll start with that black and white version. I'm
That's awesome.
sending.
And for anybody that doesn't know, and I don't know if Clint's even going to say it, Fatal is still available in demand on Indiegogo. So definitely,
It's true. Yes.
if you haven't picked up your copy yet, go get it now because this is going to be something fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
This will be one I think. It's notable. It was so fun to kind of go through once we did this Marvel method. So much of it was based around Charlie's insane creativity, and we talked a little bit about the plot lines and stuff, and that was sort of fun. But this has been so long in the making too, that we came up with new ideas. He came up with new ideas. So did I. And so going through and adding the dialogue and first like discovering, okay, these are the important elements. I went over the script so many times to sort of layer in some different textures of what I think is really interesting. I'm pretty excited about it. So I cannot wait to see this letter.
I've got the volumes of Downcast, and I think you've got a gift for dialogue.
I agree completely.
Thank you.
Downcast 1, 2, and 3. I'm not nearly as big of a fan as my good brother Snuggy is, but I'm certainly up there.
Well,
I've only got
thank
one
you.
foam finger, not two.
I think there's some really nice turns of phrase in there in the narration, and I think that the dialogue, I find dialogue to be, I can't do it at all, but in reading a lot of scripts, there's not very many people that can do it either, so I don't feel so bad. And yeah, you do it quite well, my friend. So
Thank you. Yeah.
so that quality of writing, and probably another people. Everybody's progressing, but yeah, that along with
Yeah.
Charlie's art, Fatal's. I have every confidence it's going to be a fantastic book.
It's,
For sure.
it's,
And
it's
since
gonna be
there
fun.
there are some people in chat asking what's Fatal and who's Charlie. So Fatal is a fantastic sci-fi story that it's 53 pages, graphic novel format that Clint and Charlie Snoggins wrote. Charlie Snoggins is a amazing artist. And I dropped a link in the chat. By all means, please go check this out. It's a space exterminator uncovers an infestation with a sinister twist. If you've read any of Downcast, you'll know that the twist you're not going to see coming. Clint's going to paint you down one road and it's going to turn in a direction you didn't see. Charlie's an amazing penciler. His inks look great. The colors look good from the sample pages on the campaign. I backed this years ago. Looking forward to getting my copy. Thrilled to hear that it's done, and can't wait, Clint. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It still feels like, okay, now we're at least now I have control over like how much effort I put into it. Whereas before it's like I can't do anything, until I have the artwork.
Well, I
And
don't know. That was a great pitch by Aldous right up to the end, where he's like, "I backed this years ago." And I'm like, "Hey, Clint, don't want to hear that." But I mean, Charlie. Charlie had some hurdles that he had to clear along the way, and that's pretty much unforeseeable from your standpoint as a writer, self-publisher. You don't know that somebody's going to go through that. Not mine to talk about. But you don't know somebody's going to go through that.
yeah.
Right. Well, between from down 3 issues of Downcast to you've split up, you're doing it with Alterna now. You just fulfilled Dracula. Fatal's the only hiccup, and I mean, given the circumstances,
Downcast came out like clockwork.
Nobody is criticizing. Things in life happen and priorities and such. Everybody understands where they are, and comics certainly are not number one. So
yeah, and it's one of those things that I don't like late books, from any side. I don't like it, but it is. I mean, it does happen. So I don't know. I've taken the stance of just try to be transparent about it. People know what's going on. We understand it's late, but now is go time for me. So it's so great. Getting those letters back is going to be just huge. That's when it really feels like a comic book. We still have a lot of work to do, but it should be significantly faster. So I am trying to get everything ready so we can send it off to print before the end of the month. And we got a couple, there's the black and white version, there's the color version. There's just a lot of moving pieces. So it's still a lot of work, but yeah, I mean, this is such a big milestone. So, and letters should be finished really soon here.
awesome.
Good stuff. All right. So Rocket mission number 2, let me post the link again for anybody that's on the fence or waiting. You're just waiting for the next round. Don't wait any longer. Go ahead and check it out. Now, let me answer this question real quick. Snuggie Junior Downcast for launch, please. Just talked to Nacho today. It's gonna launch. Technically, I could launch, but I don't think I'm gonna have a strong launch if I launch right now. So I'm gonna wait until next year, early next year, and yeah, but it'll be worth it. So that should be a fairly quick turnaround too, because right now it's 2/3 of the way finished. We have a chapter by Eric Weathers doing the artwork. So my script, Eric Weathers art, it is amazing. But I do have to raise some more funds before I can really keep doing it. So first step is to get Fatal out the door. There we go. All right. So pitch. Well, yeah. Give me one more overview of Rocket mission number 2 and why people should back it.
20 plus creators, 120 plus pages, and magazine sized, perfect bound, glossy interiors, heavy cardstock cover. It's the vehicle by which indie comics will hopefully be propelled to the next level. That you're getting in-depth, detailed interviews, long form, with some of the best creators in the indie scene that have been around for a long time. You're getting introspective, short interviews, both about their projects and up-and-coming creators, such as Camel Moon, who currently has Boots and Heels available on Indiegogo. You've got short stories, both samples from upcoming graphic novels to short stories that are self-contained. You've got tutorials from both the amazing Dean James and Michael Ogden, the writer for Embrace. That's their book that's coming out later this year. Michael will be doing a tutorial on how to write characters and create drama without delving into soap opera melodrama, which again is another excellent thing for readers to understand how what goes into writing a scene, what goes into writing a character. Gives you a little bit more introspective into what's going on in the context of the book and more. There's always more stuff coming at us. You'd be amazed at how many fantastic, talented people are constantly knocking on our DM door and both offering products, offering samples, offering content. We're humbled by it and we're moved, and we'd love to see the response to this magazine so that we can do number 3 and continue, maybe even go to a bi-yearly, or the dream is to make this a quarterly. So let's see what we can do. Appreciate all the support, and thank you to every backer.
Yeah, fantastic. I love to see a couple more backers coming in tonight. Still 14 days left. No doubt this will reach its goal, but better sooner than later. So get in there and back it. Snuggie said mailing list launch soon. I'll probably do it. I love Snuggie because he makes me feel good, So thank you.
Well, you'll have at least 2 backers if you launch right now, because I'd be in there too.
Yeah.
I know.
You haven't missed one yet, man.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not in a hurry, so we'll hold off a bit. But I'm gonna do that T-shirt we showed earlier tonight by Cure. I just like to kind of do like a Black Friday sale, just a really short one, so some people can get some of the older books. I actually found not very many, but some Downcast first printing volume 1s with the Matt Weldon cover, which is like the rarest of them all. And so I'm going to have just a few of those up, and then the T-shirts and possibly a beanie, but it'll be really small campaign, just a way for you to kind of catch up and sort of hold me over through the winter as far as cash flow goes, hopefully. But then, yeah, back to Downcast. So we're going to get Fatal out. It's going to feel so good, clean slate. And yeah, we'll continue on. So Steve Dye and Aldous, so glad that you guys came on. It was good to talk to you live, and congratulations on the magazine. I'm really looking forward to getting mine.
Thank you very much, Clint. Greatly appreciate it, and it was a complete honor to be here. Thank you again.
Yeah. Very, very pleased to be here. Thanks for having us on. Thank you for the backing. That's pretty much it. Totally appreciate it, man.
My pleasure. If you're watching after the fact, I'm going to post this in the description of the video so that you can check it out. You're right, Camel Moon, that was a fast hour, but time flies when you're having fun. So please do back it no matter what time it is. And once this hits 5,000, we'll all shout it from the rooftops. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.
Have a great night, all.